You're listening to the Parents of Hardworking Teens podcast, episode 133. The 3 R's that create the 2 things that parents and students have been telling me that they want most, why this happens, and how to make it happen for your teen. I'm Katie Jones, and with over 15 years in education as an award-winning high school teacher, international external examiner, and as a study coach, I've helped thousands of students skyrocket their results and confidence. And this podcast is where I share all my insights, tactics, and tips with you, the parent, so you can help your hardworking teen get happy, smart, and successful in their study, and have you both enjoy the journey along the way. This is the Parents of Hardworking Teens podcast. Hey there, VIPs. How are you doing? I am doing. I have just yesterday dropped my mum back at the airport to fly back to the UK. And with that, we have now turned the second bedroom back into an office. And on the note of the house, have been going through all of the steps with all of the people, the engineer, the builder, the building certifier, the council, as we're getting the final plans done for our little extension and not so little reno on our new place, which I shouldn't really call our new place anymore because we've now been here a whole year, which has just flown by. Now, those are really the reasons why I haven't made a new podcast episode for a few weeks. The main one being really just having my mum out and staying, because when you have someone fly to the other side of the world, you want to try and give them plenty of your time and attention. And I have still been spending a fair amount of time working while she's been here because, and this is the other main reason, is I've been putting a lot of my time and my brain space and my energy into setting up and really now running and working really hard on the new coaching groups that I have. Small groups for students who I've been working with personally to guide and help and support them in their study, in specifically building their skills, their strategies, their technique, their performance in all aspects of their assessment, their study, their exam prep, etc. And these groups have been going so well. So I'm almost certainly going to be continuing with this style of training and support going forwards. I could spend this whole episode sharing the takeaways and impacts from these students and the groups, but I won't do that. But if you do want more information on this, then just drop me an email, support@rocksolidstudy.com, with your teen's year group, or groups if you have more than one in high school. I do have a sibling discount and I will send you over all of the relevant information. Now, I do limit numbers. They are specifically small groups for a reason, but I'm also, let's say, adapting and accommodating demand and have already started additional groups to accommodate this. So as of right now, I have the year 7 and 8 Study Smart Blueprint. I have next level coaching for students in years 9 to 11. And then we have Finish Strong, specifically for year 12, students in their final year. Of course, with a strong focus on exam technique. And right now, this term, the lead up to their finals. Speaking of which, I have decided to run the Exam Mastery Workshop live this year for 2025. I have run the Exam Mastery Workshop previously. The last time I ran it was back in 2022. It is by far the most popular workshop or training aside from the 10-week grade transformation program and possibly now the coaching groups that I am developing. But I am running it specifically because we have so many students now coming into the coaching groups and I really want them to have this live experience. So I am updating it, I am revamping it, I am making it as impactful as I can. And I have picked up and developed strategies and insights over the past 3 years since I last ran it that I think will be really valuable to students. So that is coming up on Sunday, the 3rd of August. It is, as the title states, all focused on exam technique and exam prep. So that's revision, that's doing past paper question, doing practice questions, and it is a 3-hour half-day workshop do not worry, I am not running it as a marathon. We will have a couple of short breaks in there. But my aim is very clearly and simply to give your teen the skills, the techniques, and the strategies to be able to tackle any exam question successfully without the need for hoping or guessing. So they're not relying on just hoping that a question comes up or that a topic or a question does not come up. And they don't need to be guessing at what the question is really asking, guessing at what they actually need to put in their response, guessing at how much detail they need to give, or how many quotes or examples they're supposed to include. There is so much guesswork and hope work, if that's a word, happening for so many students. And I want to eradicate that as much as possible. And the Exam Mastery Workshop is my way to try to do that. So tickets are available now at www.greattransformation.com/EMW25. So that stands for Exam Mastery Workshop. EMW 2025 is the 25. So /EMW25. You'll also see on that page that there are some big bonuses that I am including with every ticket. And you will also get the full recording and workbook. So no worries if you're already thinking, 3rd of August, they can't make it live. It's no problem. They will get the full recording. So those are a couple of updates, and they bring us nicely to the topic that I actually want to discuss with you today, because it's a perfect combo of a couple of things that I have picked up from the coaching consults that I have been leading and the aims of the Exam Mastery Workshop. And that is the overlap between results and confidence, and most specifically, increased results and increased confidence. Because with every student who joins one of my coaching programs, I kick things off for them with a private consult with me, usually with both the student and their parents, sometimes just the student. And the thing that I do with everyone at the end of one of those consults is set some specific outcomes that we want them to achieve, that they want to achieve, and I want to help them do in 10 to 12 weeks' time. So I basically say to them, both to the student and to the parent, if they're there, if we were to sit down again together in 10 to 12 weeks from now, and you as the parent have invested your money, and you as the student have invested your time and effort on getting this coaching, what would make it feel absolutely, totally 200% worth it? What would make you so glad that you'd put in that time and money and effort? What would make you feel like you'd still be happy if it had cost double the money or had to put in twice as much effort? What would make that worth it? And of course, the answers vary depending on where things are currently at for them and what we've discussed and what they need to change or work on or develop. But it almost always involves or comes down to two main things. Number one is confidence. And this will show up where the student says something like, I just want to know what it is that I actually need to write. Or I want to be able to work out what the questions are asking. Or I just want to feel confident that I'm studying in the best ways. I don't always feel like I'm necessarily doing the right things or doing them in the right way. And then the parent will say something like, I want them to feel confident in themselves or in their abilities. I want them to be not stressing out so much in the lead up to exams. And as I've discussed here on the podcast before, a major cause of stress is the uncertainty about what they're going to ask on the paper, the uncertainty about what the questions are going to be, what topics are going to come up, how the marks are allocated. I'm going to come back to that in a second. But the opposite of uncertainty is clarity and confidence. So the number one thing is confidence. And the number two thing I get told that they want to have happen or that they want to see change is an increase in results. The student will say, I want to be getting above X percentage in Y subject, or I want to get results that match my effort or show the subject knowledge that I have. Or they just want to hit a particular grade, or I want to get a certain ATAR so that I can get into the uni course that I want. And of course, often the parent will want those things for them too because they want them. But more often, it is not the parent putting pressure on for specific results. It's more that they want their teen to achieve the results that show their ability, that mean that they can achieve their potential. And show to the student the ability, the potential that they have. They'll say things like, I really want them to experience success, or I want them to have maximum opportunities to be able to do whatever it is that they want. But most of all, they really want them to see the results or get those results that they want, because they want them to have their effort rewarded. And they want that realization of their capability, of their capacity to raise their self-confidence and their self-esteem. And hey, look, we have cycled back around to confidence. So we can see that there is an overlap here between those emotional personal outcomes and those more tangible, on paper, academic results style outcomes. And the best part of this is that I then respond by telling them that the good news is it's the same skills, the same strategies, the same techniques that are going to make both of those happen. All the things that they want to happen, more marks, more confidence, are created by the same thing or set of things, which mean it's a double whammy problem if students don't have these, because it will impact both their confidence and results. But it's also a double whammy positive when they do have them. So I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and in order to try and convey this in the clearest way, I've simplified it down into 3 R's. To hopefully make this easy to remember and to just come back to in your own mind. So for a student to feel confident in tackling a new assignment, let's say, or maybe writing an essay or answering an exam question, they need to, number 1, know what the question is asking, or in other words, what the question requires. Number 2, they need to know how the marks are going to be allocated or what the success criteria demand. In other words, they need to know how they are going to be rewarded, how they'll move up the criteria, or how they're going to be awarded marks from the mark scheme. And then number 3, they need to have the skills and the know-how to write an answer that responds to those requirements and will earn maximum possible reward. So the 3 R's are, number 1, requirement. What does the question require? The next is reward. How is your team going to earn marks or tick off the criteria on the mark scheme? And the third is response. How will they write a response that meets both of those in the most efficient, clear, and sophisticated way? So when your team knows and has those 3 R's, because it's not just about knowing them, it's about being able to do them. These are skills. If they know how to dissect any question to figure out what it's actually really asking, if they can predict the mark scheme in an exam or accurately decipher the success criteria on a rubric, if they have the skills and strategies, if they have the how on how to craft a succinct and high quality response, then they are going to feel confident. They know that they could be thrown any question and they have the skills and knowledge to be able to deal with it. They know the steps to take. They have systems to follow. They aren't guessing at things. They aren't hoping that they've done it right. And also, if they know how to dissect the task or question, if they know exactly what the question and the mark scheme require, and they have the skills, the steps, the systems, the techniques to craft a clear, high-quality response, then they are going to do exactly that. Accurately dissect the question, appropriately respond to the mark scheme, and produce a high-quality piece of work that meets more of those top criteria to be able to get their best possible result. And do it in the smoothest, most accurate, most efficient, most effective way. They're not just going to feel confident that they can do it, they actually do it. And here's what some of those concepts, skills, and techniques are. Their capabilities like clarity on command words, being able to identify them and appropriately respond to them, like decoding the wording of mark scheme criteria, explaining in the right amount of detail, effectively integrating and analyzing quotes and evidence with the 3 steps of analysis. All of these produce both of those most wanted outcomes, the results and the confidence. As long as, of course, they are done accurately, as long as they're done effectively. If you feel confident, but you're not actually doing it right, then of course that is not going to translate into results. But if you know what to do and how to do it accurately, effectively, reliably, you are going to feel confident and you're going to create responses, write answers, execute assignments to a high level. And like I said, do it in the smoothest possible way with least stress and maximum efficiency. So these 3 R's are the exact skills we're going to be focusing on in relation to exams, specifically in the Exam Mastery Workshop coming up on the 3rd of August. And they're also what we train in and practice and hone and up-level with personal guidance, feedback, and direction across all aspects of study and assessment in the coaching programs that I'm now running. And top tip, if you also like maximum efficiency with your investment of time and money, all of my coaching group members get a ticket included with their membership to the Exam Mastery Workshop. So I will put that link into the show notes for the Exam Mastery Workshop, www.greattransformation.com/EMW25, the numbers 25. Or send me an email, support@rocksolidstudy.com with your teens year group if you would like me to send you information about the coaching program that matches their year group. And I hope that this episode gives some really positive and productive input around study and assessment and exams. The fact that learning, becoming skillful, and developing mastery over these 3 R's is what's going to produce the 2 most desirable outcomes that students and their parents have been telling me that they want. That a few key skills, a few key concepts and strategies will create the clarity and certainty that give the feeling of confidence and produce better quality answers, essays, reports. This is how those are created. So here's 2, those double whammy outcomes. Anything where you get more bang for buck, more outcome for input, that in my book is the key to strategic study. Have a brilliant rest of your week. I will catch you back here next time.